Welcome to the Appliance Repair Academy. Today we are replacing the drain pump on an LG WM4000HWA front-load washer. The replacement part number is 4681EA2001T. The drain pump is responsible for removing water from the drum at the end of each wash and spin cycle. When it fails, you will see error code OE, that is the LG drain error, on the display. Other symptoms include standing water left in the drum after a cycle, a burning or melting smell from the front lower panel, unusual humming or grinding during drain, or the washer stopping mid-cycle and refusing to continue. This is one of the most common LG front-load service calls. The repair requires removing the lower access panel. No need to pull the top or rear panels. We will walk through every step from diagnosis through final test. Let's begin. Before we start, let's go over tools and safety. Tools you will need: a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a 1/4-inch nut driver, a flat blade screwdriver, a multimeter set to ohms, needle nose pliers, a shallow drain pan or towel, and a bucket. You will also want a small flashlight. The pump area is low and dim. Safety first. Unplug the washer from the wall outlet. Do not rely on any control panel power button. Disconnect the cord completely from the outlet. Attach your OSHA lockout/tagout tag to the cord. This machine uses 120 volts AC. A licensed technician handles any live voltage work. You should not need to test live voltage for this replacement. Important: the drum may have water in it from a failed drain cycle. Before removing the pump, you must drain that water through the filter access door. We will cover that in the next step. Have your pan and bucket ready now.
Lockout/tagout protects you. Let's do it correctly. Walk to the wall outlet and pull the power cord completely free. Do not use a power strip switch. Full disconnection from the outlet is required. Route the cord so it cannot accidentally fall back into the outlet. Loop your lockout hasp through the plug prongs, lock it, and hang your OSHA danger tag. Write your name and the date on the tag. LG front-load washers store water in the sump area below the drum even when the display is off. Unplugging removes electrical energy, but water pressure is still present in the drain hose circuit. This is why you drain water before loosening any hose connections. Verify zero electrical energy. Interior drum light should be off. Display dark. Only then proceed to the drain and filter step.
Let's confirm the drain pump is the failed component. The LG OE error code, drain error, appears when the control board does not detect the drum water level dropping within 9 minutes of starting a drain sequence. Common causes in order of likelihood: a clogged filter, failed pump motor winding, pump impeller jammed by debris, or a kinked drain hose. First, always check the filter. A clogged filter accounts for about 60% of OE calls. We will access it in the next step. To test the pump motor with your multimeter, power disconnected, disconnect the pump wire harness. Set your meter to ohms. Test across the 2 pump motor terminals. A good LG drain pump reads between 5 and 15 ohms. An open reading, infinite ohms, confirms a failed motor winding. 0 ohms means a shorted winding. Either confirms the pump needs replacement. If the winding tests in range but the pump still does not turn, reach into the filter port and try spinning the impeller. It should turn freely by hand. If it is stiff or locked, the pump is mechanically failed. Replace it. Part number 4681EA2001T is your replacement. Before removing anything, you must drain all water from the washer. On the LG WM4000HWA, the drain filter access door is on the lower front of the machine, bottom right. It is a small rectangular snap-open cover. Press the tab or use your flat blade screwdriver to pop it open. Inside, you will see two things: a small drain hose with a rubber plug and the round filter cap. Place your shallow pan directly under the access door. Pull the small drain hose out and remove the plug. Allow water to drain into the pan. Empty the pan into your bucket as needed. When water stops flowing, replace the plug and tuck the hose back in. Now slowly turn the filter cap counterclockwise, 1/4 turn. More water will flow out. Have your pan ready. Continue turning counterclockwise until the cap is free. Pull the filter out and set it aside. Rinse it under running water. Debris in the filter is often the entire cause of the OE code. If the filter clears the code, you may not need the pump after all. If the pump winding tested failed, continue with the replacement. With the water drained and filter removed, we can access the pump. On the LG WM4000HWA, the lower front access panel runs the full width of the machine below the door. It is held by two Phillips screws, one at each end of the panel near the bottom edge. Locate both screws. Using your number 2 Phillips screwdriver, remove both screws and place them in your container. The panel will hinge downward from the bottom. Grip the bottom edge and pull it toward you. The panel snaps off 2 upper clips. Set the panel aside. You now have full access to the pump area. The drain pump is located in the lower left area of the machine. It is a black or dark gray cylindrical component with a wire harness connector and 2 hose connections: the sump hose from the tub and the drain hose that exits the machine. With the panel removed, let's identify all the connections on the pump before we touch anything. The drain pump on the LG WM4000HWA sits low against the front frame. Looking directly at it, you will see the sump hose on the left connecting from the tub. This is the larger diameter rubber hose secured with a spring clamp. The drain outlet hose on the right or top. This is the smaller hose that routes up to the drain standpipe. And the wire harness connector on the back or side of the pump body, typically a 2 or 3 wire connector with a locking tab. Take a reference photo right now before disconnecting anything. Capture the hose positions, clamp orientations, and wire routing. This photo is your guide for installing the new pump. Also note, there may be residual water in the sump hose even after draining. Have your pan positioned directly under the pump before loosening any connections.
Start with the wire harness. Disconnect electrical before touching water connections. Locate the wire connector on the pump body. It is a rectangular plastic connector with a locking tab on one side. Press the locking tab inward with your thumb and pull the connector body straight back. Never grip the wires, always grip the connector body. Pull with steady, even pressure until the connector releases. Once free, tuck the wire harness end to the side where it will not fall into the water pan. Confirm both halves of the connector are intact and the locking tab is not broken. A cracked locking tab will cause an intermittent connection on the new pump. If the tab is broken, the connector needs a repair or replacement pigtail before reassembly. The pump is now electrically isolated. Move on to the hose connections.
Now disconnect the sump hose, the large rubber hose coming from the tub. This hose is held by a spring clamp. Use your needle nose pliers to squeeze the spring clamp ears together and slide the clamp back along the hose, away from the pump fitting. Keep the pliers on the clamp until it is seated well back on the hose. Spring clamps can snap if released too quickly. With the clamp clear, twist the hose back and forth while pulling it away from the pump inlet fitting. Do not yank straight. A twisting motion breaks the seal cleanly without tearing the hose. Expect water to flow out as the hose separates. Your pan should already be in position. Once the sump hose is free, tilt it upward to reduce dripping. If significant water continues to flow, The drum still has water. Do not proceed until it stops.
Now disconnect the drain outlet hose from the pump. The drain outlet hose is typically smaller than the sump hose and may use a spring clamp or a screw clamp. Use your pliers or screwdriver to release the appropriate clamp and slide it back along the hose. Twist and pull the drain hose free from the pump outlet fitting. This hose typically has less residual water than the sump hose, but keep your pan in position. With both hoses disconnected, the pump is now free of water connections. Check inside the pump inlet port with your flashlight. Look for any debris, socks, coins, small items that may have caused or contributed to the failure. Remove any debris before installing the new pump. Also, inspect both hose ends for cracks, tears, or brittleness. A hose in poor condition should be replaced at this same service call. It is much easier while the pump is already out.
With both hoses and the harness disconnected, remove the pump from the machine. The LG WM4000HWA drain pump is held to the front frame by 2 or 3 mounting screws or bolts, typically 1/4-inch hex head. Use your 1/4-inch nut driver to remove them. Hold the pump body with your free hand as you remove the last fastener. The pump will be free and can drop if not supported. Lift the pump straight out of the machine. It may have a rubber isolation mount or grommet at the base. If so, the pump lifts straight up off the posts. Set the old pump aside on your work surface. Immediately compare it to the new part 4681EA2001T. Confirm the inlet port diameter matches, the outlet port position matches, the mounting hole pattern matches, and the wire connector style matches. Verify on all 4 points.
Side-by-side comparison is not optional. It saves you from a second service call. Place the old pump and the new pump 4681EA2001T on your work surface next to each other. Check these 5 points. 1. Inlet port size and orientation. The sump hose must fit the new pump's inlet fitting the same way it fit the old one. 2. Outlet port size and orientation. The drain hose must align to the outlet fitting without forced bending. 3. Mounting hole pattern. Hold the 2 pumps back to back and confirm the holes align. 4. Wire connector. Same pin count, same locking tab style. 5. Overall pump body size. It must fit in the same space in the machine. If all 5 match, you are clear to install. If any point does not match, stop, verify the part number on both units, and contact your supplier before continuing. Installing the wrong pump risks damaging the tub, the harness, or the frame.
New pump verified. Time to install. If the pump uses rubber isolation grommets, press the grommets onto the frame mounting posts first. Lower the new pump body down onto the posts until it seats fully. If the pump uses direct screw mounting, hold the pump in position aligned with the mounting holes. Start all mounting screws or bolts by hand, finger tight only, before tightening any. Once all fasteners are started, tighten them in sequence, left, right, center if there is a third. Snug means firm resistance. Do not over-tighten. The pump housing is plastic and threads strip easily. Confirm the pump sits flat and does not rock. The inlet port should face the sump hose. The outlet port should face the drain hose. The wire connector port should be accessible. If any orientation seems off, loosen and reposition before tightening. With the pump mounted, reconnect the sump hose first. Slide the spring clamp all the way back along the sump hose, away from the end, before connecting the hose to the pump. Push the sump hose onto the pump inlet fitting with a twisting motion until it seats fully on the barb. The hose end should be flush with or just past the raised ridge on the fitting. Now slide the spring clamp forward using your needle nose pliers until it sits centered over the hose to fitting joint, ideally just past the raised barb on the fitting. Release the clamp slowly so it grips evenly around the hose. Give the hose a firm tug to verify the clamp is holding. The hose should not move. A sump hose that is not fully seated or a clamp not over the barb will leak water into the machine base, causing a flood at first use. Double-check before moving to the drain hose. Now, reconnect the drain outlet hose. Push the drain hose onto the pump outlet fitting with the same twisting motion, seated fully past the barb ridge. Position the clamp over the hose to fitting joint. If it is a spring clamp, squeeze and release slowly. If it is a screw clamp, tighten until snug. Do not over-tighten or you will crack the hose. Verify the drain hose routes the same direction as before. Check your reference photo. The hose must have no kinks, no sharp bends, and no contact with the pump motor body where vibration could chafe through the hose over time. Tug the drain hose firmly after clamping. It should not pull free. A loose drain hose connection will spray water inside the machine base at every drain cycle. With both hoses secured, reconnect the wire harness. Align the connector body with the pump's wire port. Press firmly and evenly until you hear and feel the locking tab click into the locked position. Give the connector a firm tug. It should not pull free without pressing the release tab. Route the harness the same way it was routed on the old pump. The harness should not drape over the pump body, touch the hose fittings, or hang near the bottom of the machine where it could get wet. Clip it to any existing harness routing points. Before closing up, do a final inspection of the pump area. Both hoses clamped and tugged, harness connected and routed, no tools left inside, no rags or towels caught behind the pump. Visually trace every connection one more time against your reference photo. Now reinstall the drain filter before closing the access panel. If you removed the filter earlier to drain water, inspect it one final time. Rinse it clean under running water. Check the rubber O-ring or gasket on the filter cap. It must be seated in its groove and free of cracks or deformation. A damaged O-ring will leak at every cycle. If the O-ring is damaged, replace it before reinstalling. Thread the filter cap clockwise into the filter housing by hand. Turn until firm resistance, then give it a quarter turn snug. Do not use tools. Over-tightening cracks the housing. Reinstall the small drain hose and its rubber plug, then tuck it back into the housing. Close the small drain hose access cap. The filter area is now sealed and ready for the access panel.
Reinstall the lower front access panel. Before clipping the panel on, take one final look inside the pump area. Confirm both hoses are clamped and routed correctly. Confirm the wire harness is not pinched between the pump and the frame. Confirm no tools or rags are inside the machine. Hold the panel with the top edge toward the machine. Hook the two upper clips into the slots on the front frame. The top of the panel goes in first. Then press the bottom of the panel in until both sides snap flat. Reinstall both Phillips screws at the bottom corners. Snug only. Do not crack the plastic panel. Stand up and inspect the panel. From the front, it should be flush with the machine exterior. No gaps, no misalignment. The filter access door should open and close freely.
Before you leave the job, here are the pro tips that matter on this repair. Always run a drain-only cycle or a quick wash cycle immediately after replacing the pump and before pushing the machine back. Watch the front panel. Any drip or seep at the panel gap means a hose connection is not fully sealed. Shut the machine down immediately, unplug, and reseat the leaking connection. On LG front loads, an OE error that returns after a new pump is installed almost always means the drain hose at the standpipe is inserted too far, more than 6 inches, creating a siphon. Pull the hose back so only 4 to 6 inches are inside the standpipe and use the hose anchor clip to hold it. If you found debris in the filter, coins, small socks, bra underwires, advise the customer to use mesh laundry bags for small items and to clean the pump filter every 6 months. This is the #1 preventable drain pump failure cause. Document the filter condition in your service notes. A very clogged filter with a failed pump often means the pump ran in a restricted state for months and burned out the winding from heat.
Remove your OSHA lockout tag from the power cord. Plug the washer into the wall outlet. Select a short wash cycle or the spin-only cycle. Press Start. Watch through the door during the spin and drain phase. You should hear the new pump engage, a steady hum, increasing in pitch as the water evacuates. Open the filter access door and visually check for any drips during the drain. Kneel down and look along the bottom edge of the machine. No water should appear on the floor. After the cycle completes, open the door. The drum should be completely empty of water. If water remains, check your drain hose standpipe depth and recheck all hose connections. Allow the machine to run a second full cycle with a small load of laundry to confirm normal operation under load. References for this repair: the LG 4000HWA Owner's Manual and Service Data, available through LG's official product support. OSHA 29 CFR 1910.147, Lockout Tagout. NFPA 70E, Electrical Safety in the Workplace. Visit appliancerepairacademy.org for the full course catalog. Repair complete.